Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Everybody's on mute, just so you know, and you're locked on mute today, so we don't get any background noise for our special guest. So I just want to kind of lay that out for you as Glenda and I go through the presentation, or mostly Glenda. If you have any questions, we're going to open it up to a live Q&A at the very end. But you can also add your chat questions into the chat window, and I'm going to do my best to keep my eye on those, so we can do that. What I'm going to do first is, here she is, unmute Glenda. So, Glenda, you are unmuted, so we can hear you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started.
Okay.
And Glenda, do you have a camera that you can turn on?
Isn't it on?
It is not.
Oh, how do I turn it on?
In the lower left-hand corner, there's a little video camera looking thing that probably has a red stripe through it.
Oh, I don't see it. Wait a minute. I'm looking for my video camera, so.
All right, everybody, welcome to the August 25th edition of the Thrive Live webinar, and this is the Peer Education Series. My name is Bill Soroka. I'm the founder of NotaryCoach.com and the Sign and Thrive Notary course and community. We're real excited to have our special guest today. Her name is Glenda Rooney, and I met Glenda on a notary meetup a couple months ago now in Southern California, and I was immediately drawn to her eagerness to share her expertise and so much information. And I think that's so critical to our business, because most people do keep their secrets and their resources pretty close to their vest. So I was immediately Glenda. Glenda, welcome to the Thrive Live webinar. I'm so glad to have you.
Oh, thank you, Bill. I'm so glad to be here, and I hope I can help.
I think you're going to do great things. So we have a lot to share today.
Yes,
and obviously the topic is how to get your first or next loan signing appointment. So, but still, I want to give people a little bit of a background about you and how you got started in this business, and maybe why you got started in this business.
All right. Well, I've been a notary for 13 years. I started working at a business that required me to be a notary. I left there after about 8 years, and that's when I started actually doing general notary work. And I've been a signing agent for 5 years, and I love this job. I mean, it's the best job you can have. You get to pick your vacations, pick your signings, and it's just great.
Yeah, the flexibility is really kind of a key component to this whole thing, for sure. And then the unlimited income doesn't hurt either.
Exactly.
What would you say has been, well, first let me say that I love that you have focused so much on general notary work.
Uh-huh.
I really think there's a huge opportunity, especially just coming into this new decade.
Yes.
For notaries in that regard. What has been your favorite part of being a notary?
You know what? My favorite part is meeting the borrowers or the clients. I have never met a rude one. They're always so appreciative, so friendly. I love the houses that I get to go to, because some of them are just mansions and they're beautiful. So just the personal aspect of it. I love it.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there for sure.
Yeah.
Some of the most incredible people from all walks of life too.
Yes. Yes.
So you were able to build a strong business, and you're in the Southern California market. And I'd like to, maybe you can kind of walk us through, because, well, let me say this first, is, I do a lot of coaching calls with new notaries. And there's almost this nervous anticipation of the first signing first. So what they do is they, they study and they learn, and then they learn some more, and then they find something else to learn, just to kind of almost avoid getting the first signing. There's something very nerve-wracking about it. Can you tell us like what your thoughts are on overcoming that and getting that?
Well, you know what? Every signing I go to, before I get to the front door, I take a deep breath and I try to relax myself. Even though I've been doing this for so many years, I still get nervous. And I still get nervous about making an error, so I always double check myself. But once I get through that front door, it just flows for me. I have a little thing I say to them about what my role in that signing is, so that they know what they can expect. And just knowing the documents and what the documents are for, um, just makes it smoother.
Right. It almost gives you that confidence level so you
Yes.
can relax about the documents and then focus on them a little bit.
Right. But I remember my first signing and I was nervous as heck. So, but you know what? As you go through a few signings, that nervousness goes away, and you'll be more confident in yourself.
Yeah, there's something that happens after your first signing. It's hard to explain. It's almost like the bubble pops a little bit.
Uh-huh.
You
Yeah.
just realize that you can do this.
Uh-huh. If you have the proper training, like training with you, the National Notary Association, of course, then it should be a slam dunk.
Exactly. Yeah, there is definitely some good training out there, and it's imperative. Not only because that competency level has to be there in order for you to have that confidence level.
Uh-huh. And to show that to the borrower too.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into the nitty gritty. How do people do this?
How do people do this? Well, let's see. I can tell you, first of all, that this is just my opinions. Some people may not agree with them, but this is what has worked for me. And that is, having your errors and omission, having all your certificates and everything scanned on your computer and saved. Because when you go to sign up for signing companies, they're going to want you to upload all those documents. So just having that already, so that you can sign up for the companies. What has worked for me is having a well-written profile, and being listed, having a paid membership on 123 Notary, Notary Cafe, and Notary Rotary.
I want to slow you down just a little bit, Glenda,
Okay.
and I'm going to stop the scanner. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, that's really great to know. So you're suggesting that people are just being ready for yes, and this is what I call being ready for yes, is that you're going to spend all this time and energy and money on marketing. You want to be ready for completing a loan signing if you get the call.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we can come back to the scanning and the printer stuff too.
Okay.
Now, let's talk a little bit more about your well-written profile though, because this is a pet peeve of mine.
Is it?
It is, because as the owner of a signing company, I'm seeking like-minded people like me. I want to know that the person that I'm going to hire in a different state to do a loan signing for me is somebody I can count on, somebody that takes this business seriously. And I don't know if you've ever gone to signingagent.com or even Rotary Notary and seen some of the profiles, but there's no pictures, there's no information. You don't know if they're in business or not. It's kind of frustrating. So I love that you're focusing so much on profile. So to you, what's a well-written profile and what does it look like?
To me, it explains my certifications, my training, the kind of equipment I have, dual tray. I have a couple dual tray printers, and that I am a paralegal also. And so I put that in there. Anything you can, make yourself look better than anybody else, I think is, so the more training you have, it all looks better to me.
Right. A little bit of training and then just something that lets you stand out. Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then do you go into a little more detail on your description about, the places you'll go,
Oh, yes. Yeah. I am limited here to just North County, San Diego. I'm going to be retiring in a couple of years. So I don't go far. I drive 10 to 15 miles one way is the max. So But, and I will include that, with the areas that I cover. So the
All right.
city.
And then let's talk about the photo. Do you have a professional photo?
You know what? I don't.
You don't? All right. And I know a lot of people don't, and everybody has their own
Good.
reasons for that. As the owner of a signing company, though, to our audience, what I'll tell you guys is that I skip to the profiles with photos.
Hmm.
So just so you guys know out there that it does actually make a difference.
It does, because then it could be emailed to the borrower.
What's that?
It could be emailed to the borrower so they know who's coming.
Oh yeah, it definitely could. It's just on the personal level, like I was saying,
Yeah.
I'm building long-term relationships. I like to know what my people look like. But what I love to point out here, though, is the contrast between one way of doing things and another way of doing things. There's no set way that you have to do stuff to be a success at this. You can still be a success and do things your own way.
Uh-huh.
There's no just blank path that says you got to do it this way or you're never going to succeed at this. You
Right.
can do things a lot of different ways, and I love that. Thank you for letting me point that out.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, so let's move on to your number 2 now, where you were talking about the directories.
Yes.
I'd like to slow down just so we can, people are listening, they can write these down or make any tidbits on that. So what directories do you recommend?
I highly recommend Notary Rotary Signing Central. I recommend having a membership on there and having a well-written profile on there. I get work from there all the time. And so as for signing companies, when you go onto Signing Central, you have to sign up with each one individually. Yeah, it's not like you can just sign up for one and it's going to go to all. There's over 800 companies on there. So I recommend starting, at 3, 4, and 5 stars, and especially 5 stars because those are good companies. So starting out there.
Yeah, this is so great. So the Notary Road, what I love about that particular list of companies too is they have the rating system, right? So
Yes.
the signing agents that actually utilize those services can rate those companies based on how timely they pay, whether or not they pay at all, customer service, and things like that. So that's real important. And right now, guys, with a list of 800 different companies, that's a huge resource for you. And in this particular market, what I'm recommending to my students and my coaching clients is that they sign up, if they really want to get serious about this for consistent business, with close to 50 companies.
Oh, yeah. I always recommend 100 at least.
100. I like that too. That's going to keep your phone ringing, guys. If you sign up, and guess what? There's very few signing agents that actually go through the effort of signing up with 50 to 100 companies. It's tedious, but it pays off when you do it, right, Glenda?
Yes, it does. Yeah. And I still sign up with companies to this day. So, I mean, when I see a good company out there, I also would like to recommend that people join the Deadbeat Signing Companies Facebook page. Brenda Day runs that. Everybody posts about deadbeat signing companies. So you can be aware of the signing companies that are deadbeats. And then also the Notary Reviews, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Carrie Rivera handles that site. And everybody posts good, bad, and ugly. It's on a rating scale from 0 to 5. So it's a very good tool to use when you're trying to figure out.
Well, yeah, sometimes on the fly, you're getting a call from a signing company you don't know, and you just need to find out if this is legit, number one. And number two, are they going to pay you if you do the work?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, good advice. What other directories do you recommend?
Well, there's a lot of, as far as signing companies or as Facebook groups?
Just the directories.
Directories? Well, you know what? 123 Notary, having a paid membership with a well-written profile has gotten me almost all of my direct signings to title and escrow companies.
No kidding.
And I've used it for years. And I'm going to continue. Some people don't like it because of Jeremy, but it brings in the money. I don't read his social media posts, so that doesn't matter. But it's one of the oldest and best databases out there.
I know it was one of the, probably like one of the original
Yes.
databases out there, so it gets lots
Uh-huh.
of traction.
Yes.
Google and things like that, and the contacts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I thought you had mentioned three. You said Notary Rotary. We got 123 Notary.
And Notary Cafe is another
Notary
big
Cafe.
one. Having a membership on there.
So, in your recommendation, you would pay for the premium listings on?
Yes, I would.
Okay,
On all three of those.
all three of those, and that's paid off for you.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Can you ballpark what those premium listings cost?
100, well, for the listing, I think on 123 Notary, it was $237 this year. Notary Rotary, I think was 99, and I can't remember Notary Cafe.
Okay, great.
But Notary Cafe was very reasonable.
Yeah, and we can all look those up on,
Yeah.
but I just wanted to get a ballpark. Okay, great. So we got the directories, and then what about, have you said everything you wanted to say about the directories? Do we want to roll into signing companies or escrow direct, or what would you?
Sure. I think that's, pretty much as long as they, start signing up, keep signing up with companies, they'll find their niche, which ones they like, which ones they don't. Keep updated, on the which ones don't pay or low pay or, pays in 90 days. I don't work with companies like that. I do mostly work with title and escrow, and that's where the money is. So that's what I would recommend people to do.
Yeah, great. Now, how did you get those escrow direct clients, and then how do you maintain the relationships with them?
Well, first of all, I have a website I have professionally made. If anyone is interested in having a website, Don Ziegler, he's on most of the notary Facebook pages. He does composing of a website. He did my logo. He did he does my hosting at very reasonable priced. I love my website.
Awesome.
I get calls from there.
Can you say his name one more time for me?
Hmm?
Can you say his name one more time? Nice and slow.
Don Ziegler.
Ziegler.
Zeigler.
Great, thank you. If anybody's interested in it.
And so I keep my website updated, and he keeps it updated for me. But I also have a Google business page, which is free. Everybody should have a Google business page. Everybody should have a Facebook business page. And that's free too. So I try to indulge in these free ones, of course, but only pay for like those three I told you about, the proven three. And I'm in different, let's see, Chamber of Commerce. I just started this, and I'm the only notary that's joining my Vista Chamber of Commerce. So I'm expecting this. It is a little expensive, but I'm expecting that to be a good investment. So, but I haven't gone to the orientation. We just decided we're going to do this. So
that's terrific.
But I have heard other people joining their Chamber of Commerce and it working very well out financially for them.
Yeah, that's a really good point you bring up, because this kind of falls in the category of networking.
Mm-hmm.
Networking is one of those weird things that you either love it or you hate it, and a lot of people hate it. And I'm not a huge fan of it either. I'm an introvert. I don't like walking into a room full of strangers and talking about stuff. Luckily, I love talking about business, so I can talk about that anytime. But it's also, while it's also a lot of people are repelled by it, it's the single most powerful tool that you can use, I think, in this business, aside from an awesome SEO website. Because this is a relationship business, and I'm sure you've seen that too in your years. Sometimes one connection just changes everything in your business, an introduction to something else. So the Chamber of Commerce is a huge tool. These real estate networking groups or any type of business networking groups are very powerful too.
Yeah, and they have networking groups all over. Like we go to one every Wednesday morning here, a mile and a half away. So pass out business cards, and yeah, that's a good tool.
Yeah, exactly. Now, for a lot of different reasons, but the point that you made is that you're the only notary in your Chamber of Commerce. And what you're going to find, guys, when you go out there and you do join the networking group, a lot of them, especially the business-oriented ones, will only allow like one person from each industry in the group. And you can rest assured that there's probably not going to be a notary or signing agent in the networking group.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming from an age where notaries didn't really market and promote their business. This flew way under the radar, even for us as notaries. So if you step outside your comfort zone and you get into these networking groups, you can have a tremendous impact because people need our services all the time,
Yeah.
but they just don't know a notary or know a notary that promotes themselves and wants more business. So there's a huge opportunity here.
Can I talk a little bit about marketing or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, one of the other things I do is I get engraved pens. I don't know if you can see it, with my company name and phone number on it. I give these to all my borrowers. They get to keep them. That means if they need a notary, they got my phone number. And I also have thank you notes with my company name, and I send these to every title or escrow company that I deal directly with. And I put a little personal note on there to them. And those seem to work very well.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought
Especially
that
the
up.
pens, and I get the pens, and I get all of it at Vista Print.
Oh, Vistaprint. Yeah, that's great. And anything you need printed, Vistaprint is usually a pretty good
Yeah.
resource for that. So I love that you're, number one, giving the pens. That's something people use every single day, so they in their hand. But the thank you cards are of special note to me, and I'm glad that you do this because it's one of the things that changed my business completely was writing thank you cards and congratulation cards and whatever it is, because believe it or not, it's just one of those things people don't do anymore. So it really stands out to people.
It does. And I've had a few title companies tell me that they love my thank you cards and they appreciate that I did that. So I do it every time. I don't do it with signing companies, just title and escrow.
To escrow direct. All right. Great. Now, do you mind if we take a pause and answer a few of the questions?
Sure. Awesome.
There's a couple of good ones here that I'd like to address. Let me scroll back up here. Okay, so Di says to you, Glenda, how did you learn all the documents?
Well, I took the NNA certificate and background checked, and then I took Notary to Pros training, and it was very good in teaching the loan documents and what to say, what not to say, how to prepare them, and of course not make any mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Carol Ray has the Notary to Pro training, and that is very highly rated. And Carol Ray is one of my favorite in the industry because it's very clear that she does this from the heart. So she talks about students. She offers herself. I mean, she's on the phone, almost 24 hours a day helping people out. So that's a great course for that too. Next question is, and let me talk a little bit about the documents as well, because for me, when I first started out, number one, I didn't know the NNA existed. I did not get you didn't have to be certified. You still technically don't have to be certified when you're working escrow direct. So I just was like a bull in a china shop. I was just out there doing it. And I was stressed out. Every signing, I would have almost an ulcer because I didn't know what I was stepping into. I didn't know if I was going to see a document I didn't recognize. And I've got this personality where I have to know everything about everything so I don't look foolish when I'm in there. So it was just a very stressful experience. So until it was like 2.5 years, 3 years maybe into my business that I finally started systemizing it and creating a script for each document. So no matter what comes up, I'm like, oh, this is the same thing. It just has a different title. When I did that, everything changed. What that did is that freed my mind, so I wasn't stressed so much about the documents that I forgot the borrower was even in the room. Instead, what I could do is interact and talk and just know that this is just the same thing. I've got the script down. The script gave confidence that I knew what I was doing. So the borrowers just they just be quiet and they sign and we laugh and we have a good time. That changed everything. So that's one of the things that I teach. I know Carol has a very similar teaching approach in that regard, just to do the same thing, what not to say on each document. So let's go to the next question now. Is anyone else having, I can't hear them. Okay, those are tech problems. Oh, Di has a good question here. And I know we kind of chatted a little bit about this, Glenda, so maybe we can tag team this one too.
Okay.
Di says, since this is about getting our first loan signing and we don't have any experience to put on our profile, what do we put on there to get noticed?
I would, to me, I would say, enhance on your training, what certificates you hold. If NNA is industry standard, make sure you put that on there. And just kind of highlight yourself in what position you've held before, maybe trying to, combine that.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I would say too, Glenda. So with more emphasis on the personality and the professionalism that you offer.
Yeah.
Because for me, like coming from an owner of a signing company's perspective, and the reality is we all have to be NNA certified. So we all have that certification.
Mm-hmm.
So when, like I go to signingagent.com and I'm looking for a signing agent, everybody's got that. So I don't necessarily look at that. What I look for is a professional picture, and I look for something in the description that tells me that you're committed to a win-win, that you care about this and the customers, that you're committed to fixing problems when they happen. When those things get addressed and I see some personality and some fire in the description, I'm like, that's the person I want to call.
That's great.
They usually don't answer the phone though, so I have to go, which is the next part of this whole thing. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So when I get asked this question a lot, because you're going to sign up for signing companies, they're going to ask you the same thing. What's your experience?
Yes.
What I tell people is that if you truly believe that you bring value to this marketplace, if you think that you can do a good job at this and make a difference to people, and this is the only thing that's stopping you from getting to your dream life of having a flexible schedule with unlimited income and a legitimate business, then you need to summon all the experience you have in the world and present yourself to this marketplace in a way that's going to get your foot in the door.
That's awesome. Yeah. I like that, Bill.
All right, next question. Judy says, Glenda and Bill, how many notaries are in your areas and what is your competition?
You know what? That's funny Judy asked that, because, one thing you can do to check your competition out is go on to 123 Notary and do a search for your zip code, and you'll find how many notaries are in your area. I haven't checked for a while, so I can't even answer that question. I am not sure. I'm sure we're probably highly concentrated.
Yeah. And in fact, when you go to any of those databases, if you were to make a decision based solely on what pops up on the screen, it would probably terrify you. I mean, that would just be the reality. Here's my perspective on it, though. While there's thousands of notaries in any given city, the performing notaries that actually answer the phone and they want to do this as a business and answer the phone. Did I already say that? Are very few. So when you ask about competition, Judy, I don't have any. That's my mindset. I don't have competition. There's other notaries. But because I'm relationship based and I have confidence in the relationships that I build, I never worry about some other notary knocking on the door stealing a client from me. I never worry that I shouldn't walk into another notary office because maybe 100 have knocked on their door before, because I find unique and creative ways to build a relationship with that person. I do a little more research into the person that I'm going to be soliciting. So I have more information. I connected with them already in my head. So I create those relationships and I have confidence in them. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but I don't focus on the ones that don't work out. I focus on the ones that do. So I would not, although I always think there's a place for competitive analysis, so you can kind of see maybe what competition's charging or what they're doing that you could do better or what they're not doing. Don't let it get in your head and freak you out, though, because there's 4.2 million notaries in the United States, and a fraction of a percent of those are out there working and performing. Most of them are notaries for companies and they don't want to work afterwards. Some of them have big dreams and they get started and they get one no and they just shut down completely. Some people don't want to answer their phones or their text messages, so they don't answer. So there is huge opportunity, even if there were 40 million notaries in this country. Let's see, Melissa says, Is an acceptable practice for a seasoned signing agent to take a protege on a signing appointment?
What's a protege?
A mentee. So could you be a mentor
No,
and take them into a house?
absolutely not.
So
Privacy of the borrowers.
I'm so glad that you said that, because I know that there are lots of mentors out there who actually do this, and I get asked obviously a lot to do that as well. But to me, it's a huge violation to people's personal space. Now,
Right.
if it was at a title company, or sometime if it was even maybe at a restaurant or a Starbucks, that might be a different story.
Yeah.
When it's at somebody's house, I stick to an absolute no. Some people already get weird that you're coming. So if
Right.
you bring a friend with you, there's some privacy violation information you have to worry about. Number one, because that's very personal information that you have to keep secure. But then there's also the discomfort of the borrower.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Let's see, good question. Da, da, da. Oh, Judy already says, I think the NNA frowns, and Judy's she reads everything. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Judy. Aaron. Okay. Oh, good. Well, there's a lawsuit about bringing another mentee, so that's good.
Yeah.
I'm going to read these questions because when you watch the playback, you don't have access to the chat window. So that's why.
Okay.
Okay, morning all. Regarding the directories, do you have to update or log in periodically to avoid being removed from any of the directories for unpaid subscriptions like Notary, Rotary, etc.?
Yes.
Yeah, we already got a couple of yeses in there. Thank you for confirming that. Vicky says, do you give a thank you card after each signing?
Now, if it's with a signing company, I don't. I do it with every direct title and escrow.
Excellent. And the reason for that is, guys, so sometimes if you send a thank you card to a signing company transaction and it goes to the escrow officer, it sometimes is interpreted that you are trying to poach their client.
Yes.
And they don't like that at all. Even if your intentions are totally pure, it can be interpreted as trying to poach their clients. So you can try to avoid doing that. I've tried to find some creative ways around that, sometimes by including the name of the signing company and giving them credit for the thank you card as well. So it's not me trying to poach, it's, Bill at Zone Signings, thank you for the signing or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So that can help build a relationship, but you never want to be interpreted as poaching. We got to stay in integrity in all ways. How often before okay, we don't know that one. I'm going to talk to Ayana here. Oh, Ayana asked a great question. Does Notary Pro teach you how to set up a loan packet?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, okay, good. And we get lots of questions about setting up a loan package.
Yeah.
But I know there's some mixed training that's out there, but the traditional role, and you tell me if you've had a different experience, Glenda, is when title sends you a loan package, it's in the order they want it back. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So there's no setting up of anything.
No.
Every now and then they might tuck the closing disclosure a little deeper than you want it, or the settlement statement. You'll pull it to the front, but there's no setting anything up. You don't reorganize anything.
No.
It comes, you print it, you have them sign it, you send it back in the exact order.
Yeah, I've never had a problem doing that.
Yeah.
I've never set up a loan package.
Yep. And then, and I know there's a specific trainer out there that pitches this. I took it to my escrow officers and I said, all right, is this of value to you? And they all kind of freaked out. They're like, absolutely not. Never touch my loan package. Never change my order. They're OCD about their orders, right? Yeah. Okay. Good. I have a good question. What is the name of the Facebook group? What is the name of the Facebook page that lists deadbeat signing companies? I think that's it, right?
Deadbeat signing companies.
That's the name of the group.
Yes.
And then Aaron answers that. All right, awesome, thank you. How do you locate the title companies and escrow companies in your area? Also, how did you start your relationship with them?
Okay, I have my own little thing I do. I do an email campaign. First of all, I Google title companies first, California, and I have a little bio about myself. and I send it to them and tell them, you know, I'm located here in Vista. I serve San Diego County. And I give them, you know, just a little bio of myself. And so I start with California, and then I go across the country. And I do this probably 3 or 4 times a year, where I'm emailing a lot of them. And then I email them maybe a month later, because I don't want them to forget my name. And so, or, you know, I'm in San Diego County, they'll remember, hey, she emailed us, she's in San Diego County. I've had a lot of title and escrow companies find me that way and responded. So that's how I keep in touch with them.
Awesome. I'm so glad you even said those 3 words right there. Keep in touch. That's so important. And it sounds like you're really good at staying consistent with that.
Uh-huh.
So 3 or 4 times a year, you go through and you do kind of a surge on your market, it sounds like. And you do a follow-up campaign. Is that right?
Yeah.
This is of critical importance, guys. So anytime you have any level of success in business, it's because there's some amount of consistency in communication and efforts. And Glenda's kind of demonstrating that for you. So however you wanted to do this, if you wanted to spread it out every week, if you wanted to do it quarterly, it sounds like what Glenda does, and then set up a follow-up, that's going to serve you very, very well. In fact, that's the critical key element to my success as well, is consistent action like this.
Yeah.
I wonder, do you use just a general email, or do you have a system for this?
I change it up every so often because I don't want it to look like, you know, one I sent. But I just tell them, you know, who I am, where I'm located, what areas I serve, and then just about me as far as my certifications and background checked, and you know, just kind of introducing myself.
Terrific, terrific. What's interesting about this is the follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up. I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but it is so true. A lot of notaries, especially in the beginning, you're going to be super excited. So when you're that excited and you have that much enthusiasm, it's real easy to send out a surge of emails and to do what Glenda's talking about. But then, depending on your response or what's going on in your life, that energy or enthusiasm kind of dwindles, and then you might not do the follow-up. In fact, 90% of people do not do the follow-up. Real power of these connections will come after the 7th connection sometimes. But most people drop off after the first, and then there's another percentage that drops off after the 2nd and the 3rd, and then the people who just keep at it actually get the fruit whenever it's done, because they remember Glenda's name. She's like, oh, this lady keeps messaging us, you know, 4 times a year and stays connected, sends us cards when we do. You know, that's going to help you stand out. Let's see what else we got here. Regarding travel fees. Okay, that's check with your state always. Here's a good question. I'm curious to see what you say, Glenda. What level of errors and omissions insurance coverage is recommended?
100,000 if you're going to work directly with title and escrow. 25,000 if you're just doing signing companies.
That's exactly right. That's the exact same thing that I quote. There are going to be some companies that have a little higher limits on that, but most of them will be fine with 100,000.
Yes.
Okay, Judy says she lists all training and says that she's in a continuing education course with Notary Coach. Awesome, thank you. All right, let's see what else we got here. I've already addressed the experience question. Okay, so Vicky says, I see on 123 Notary that many signing agents profiles in my area claim that they have done 10,000 or more signings. This is daunting for me since I'm new. Are those signing agents preferred by signing companies and title companies?
Are they referred to them?
Preferred.
Oh, preferred. Well, if they have a lot of experience like that, yeah, I would say yes. But also on 123 Notary, you know, they have, like, I am second on 123 Notary. So there is one notary before me in San Diego that has probably will never stop using his listing. I'll never get number 1, but I got number 2. And so when you're 1, 2, 3 of the signing agents, then you are going to be the ones people that look at your profile see first. For any free memberships, they're going to be at the bottom of the barrel. So, and nobody's going to search through 20, 25 notaries to find you way down there. So 123 Notary doesn't refer title companies and stuff to you. The title companies find you on there.
Just by a zip code search. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so the premium listing would make sense. I think
Yes.
that's why you reiterated that.
Yes.
And here's to address the intimidation factor too, is you've got to realize too that the people who are on those listings, they're not always available.
Right.
And they can't always answer their phone. So there is you go down the list to call. Now, when I see 10,000 signings, I think that person might be qualified to do what I do. Still, there's a personality factor here. And this is a big deal to me, and I know to a lot of signing companies, is being able to do the job is great, but if your ego and your professionalism is lacking, I don't want to do business with that either. So if the first question out of somebody's mouth is, what do you pay? I don't do for less than $150. Then I don't want to do business with that. I'm looking to build relationships. I like it. I like liking the people I work with. So there's still a ton of opportunity for people who are just getting into this. And again, people with 10,000 signings, they have some good relationships. They focused on relationships probably. So you can start there too. And there's always, and I've gotten business this way, there's always an escrow officer who is frustrated with their signer or their signing company, usually signing companies. So it's a great opportunity for you to get your foot in the door.
Definitely.
So Naomi asks a good question here. Can you speak more on getting Fidelity approved? Is it necessary to start your business?
Well, I see somebody's post, Andrea's, about the 500,000 errors in admission. But I am Fidelity approved, and I only have 100,000. So I got Fidelity approved years ago through one of the signing companies I signed up for on Notary Rotary. And for the life of me, I cannot remember the name. But there are other signing companies that will ask you if you want to be Fidelity approved.
That's really an easy way to do it, because they literally check a box and you're Fidelity approved when you're under their umbrella, and that carries on no matter who you're going with. You're just on their approved list.
Yeah, I did one last night for Fidelity. So
then you can also the most challenging ways to work with a Fidelity escrow officer that refers you to their business development vice president and gives you the paperwork to fill out. Or you can also sign up with BankServe, which is a Fidelity-owned So that's a signing company that's owned by Fidelity, and that gets you in the approval process as well. All right, Eileen says, can I shadow a loan signing agent during a signing prior to being approved as a signing agent?
no.
Yeah, so with the shadowing, you really need the criminal background check if you're going to do that in a title business. We already talked about doing it in somebody's home. That's probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, do we think I have any? Okay, whoops. There's a lot of great questions on here.
You have mentioned about answering the phone, and I think that's definitely that. I always answer my phone, and a lot of times I have to block the number because it's a marketing call or something. But in not only answering it, but answering it in a professional way, and setting up your voicemail so that your voicemail states you're a notary and a loan signing agent. So I think keeping those two things up to date is a good idea.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you brought this up. So this is what I call being ready for yes. You spend all this time, energy, and money setting up your business. You finally get some clients and you answer the phone, hello. Or, and that's if you answer it at all. If you're going to treat this like a business, treat this like a business. Answer your phone professionally. Hi, this is Bill. How can I help you? Or hi. Have your voicemail set up. Respond to emails. Check your emails. I get so many people. I'll send an email out, and 7 days, 10 days later, I get a response. Sorry, I'm not available. I'm like, really? That was 10 days ago. Yeah.
Wow.
If you're not an email person and you're in business, you need to become an email person. That is the way of business. If you don't like talking on the phone, I don't like talking on the phone, but I got to answer my phone or I got to return calls. or take scheduled calls, because that is the business that I'm in. You've got to have a why, like your reason for being in this business, that's strong enough to pull you through what you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'll also, to talk about the voicemail things, guys, if you have a voicemail, change it to something that suggests that you're interested in getting some business, because you might be in a signing, you might not be able to answer the phone every time, but if, like, as the owner of a signing company, when I call and I get voicemail, if it says you've reached the voicemail of 480, that's nothing to me. But if I hear, hi, this is Howard, and I'm probably in a signing right now, but today is Thursday, August 26th, and I will return your call within an hour, then I'm going to leave that guy a message. He's clearly on it. He clearly wants some business.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about actually, let's talk about what they want to talk about here.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Are the title and escrow companies using websites like SnapDocs or FASS, First American, more than going through a directory? I've been told by OTC they go through SnapDocs.
Yeah, I'm not a SnapDocs lover, so I don't use SnapDocs at all. I don't use Fast either. I do know that I've heard that there are some title and escrow companies that use SnapDocs, but the companies that use SnapDocs don't pay enough for me, so I don't work with them.
I'm glad to hear you say that. I mean, SnapDocs obviously has, in some markets it's really great, in others it's not so great, and it has its strengths and it has its weaknesses. Mm-hmm. And when people come into the business, they often think that SnapDocs is kind of the end all be all.
Yes, I know.
I really want people to know that it's not. It's a great additional tool, and all it is a platform, a technology platform that other signing companies and even Escrow Direct use to distribute their signing leads or signing appointments. So there's a lot of different companies involved in SnapDocs, but the way they blast things out, the low pay that a lot of them are famous for paying, kind of turn a lot of people off. If it makes sense for you, I'm encouraging you to stick with it, but mostly I just want you to use it as a tool, right? Just one part of your entire revenue stream can be SnapDocs, but there's so much more opportunity out there.
Yeah.
So many other people that don't use it. And you've built an entire business.
There's a lot of good signing companies out there.
Yeah.
I find them all on Notary Rotary. So I recommend Notary Rotary signing up with those companies before SnapDocs. But SnapDocs works for some.
Exactly. And especially in the beginning when you need a little bit of confidence that there's enough business or you want to get some practice in, you can have your SnapDocs, but keep signing up with other companies. That's the key to everything. Don't rely on SnapDocs. Okay, let's see. Excellent. So that is the end of the questions that we're going to answer right now. We're kind of coming to the end. That was a lot of questions. So Glenda, thank you so much for answering those.
No problem.
But I want to make sure that we addressed everything that you wanted to talk about today.
Okay. Let me look at my notes. I think we did. Maybe about you dress professionally when you go to a signing.
Yeah.
I always dress professionally. So somebody's got a dog. Setting up your Google business page, your Facebook business page, your website. I think that's it.
Well, let's talk about the dress code a little bit more, because believe it or not, this is still it's still an issue, and I get to see, unfortunately, a little bit of the downside to that. What is your suggestion on dress code?
Well, I dress business casual. If I'm going into a title company or escrow company, I dress business professional. So you never go with flip-flop shorts or anything like that. I dress the part. You got to look professional and act professional. So
that's refreshing to hear. And I know there's anybody who really builds a business out of this obviously already knows that.
Yeah.
You have to ask yourself if this is too professional or not professional enough. It probably isn't. The general rule is business casual, though. Like for guys, a polo and slacks is fine. Some offices will let you wear jeans. Some signing companies let you wear jeans. I never wear jeans.
No.
We're representing a title company. So that's what you always think. No matter what appointment you're going to as a loan signing agent, you are a representative of the title company. So how would an escrow officer dress? Usually professional all the way around, but business casual is acceptable. Khakis, for women, a pantsuit, dress, a skirt, or something along those lines. Something that just says that you are a professional. What
Right.
we want to avoid, I'm not a proponent of jeans, like I said, shorts, almost never acceptable. I know there's some exceptions like in Hawaii and even in Southern California where they get really casual, and in Arizona when it's 120. But as a general rule of thumb, you're not going to wear shorts. And you're never going to wear pajamas or a bathrobe. What's happened? Yoga pants are not business attire.
No.
Can't stress that enough. And sweatpants or anything with holes in them. No matter what. I don't care how much you spent on the jeans. They are not acceptable to wear if they have holes in them. And there's no exception.
Yes.
Let's see what Aaron says. Dressing professionally. What about tattoos? I have some on my arms and I've always been worried people want them covered. But when it's 90 degrees outside or the elderly keep their homes very warm. That's a great question on tattoos. Had you ever had any encounters with that, Glenda?
No, you know what? I don't have a tattoo, although I do want to get one. I don't see anything wrong with tattoos. I mean, it's to me no big deal. So that would be, I think, an individual.
Yeah, the signing company, whoever's cutting your check, will have a policy on that most likely.
Yeah.
But I will also say that one of the beautiful things about this business is that it does have lots of flexibility when it comes to things like tattoos. And as long as, and here's what I'll tell people too, is if you have tattoos, some people get intimidated by people with tattoos. So you might overcompensate a little bit with your dress, apparel, or personality or something that just warms people up. Just so you're not walking in there scaring the crap out of somebody. And it doesn't happen often, but it's not reality, but perception is reality when you're dealing with the general public. So you have to balance that out if you want this business to work for you.
Yeah.
Carol's on with us too. Carol, welcome. I'm glad you're on.
Carol.
Yeah, she brought up a good point too, is along the dress code lines is you want to avoid colognes and perfumes.
Yes.
Because there's so many people that are allergic to stuff like that. And you don't always think about that. And on that same note, you really want to remember your personal hygiene. You have got to be conscientious of your odors, your breath, anything out there, sweat, anything else that's going on, be aware of it. And so you can work that out as well. I just want to say that when I first started in this business last year, Glenda was the only person who gave me her number at 10:30 p.m. and said, call me, I will help you. I absolutely love her. That's awesome, Glenda.
Aw, that's nice, Giovanna. That's really nice. Thank you.
And I have to say too, Glenda, that's one of the main reasons I was just attracted to having you on here today, is that you were so willing to share so much information with new notaries and seasoned notaries as well, who are just trying to really build a dream business with this. And that means a lot. And I love
doing it. So,
guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you, Glenda, for joining us. It's been a pleasure. We will post the recording of this to YouTube here shortly. Thank you all for spending your Saturday working on yourselves and your business.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, thank you.